Hi folks, welcome to your maths lesson online. This is the first out of two videos for this week's lesson. So we're officially on week 26 and our first video is multiplying decimals. This is for level 1 functional skills maths, and I know that you're on the edge of your seat. You have to be able to multiply a 1 to 3 digit decimal by a whole number. We're going to do this by completing a few examples together. And then if you want to do some more practice, I'll put a resource up. But then ultimately, you're just going to do an online Microsoft form. You're just going to click on a link and you're going to answer the questions online and it submits it for you. But you're only going to do that after you've watched both videos. Also note, this is a non-calculator. So this is for the non-calculator part of your exam. So although, yes, you could cheat, I wouldn't, because ultimately you've got to sit that exam, okay? So this is how we do it. This is the method, which we'll come back to at the end because it'll make more sense afterwards. But you're just going to count the number of decimal places, multiply as if they didn't exist, and then put them back in. So let's try the first one. 0.4 times 3. There is a decimal place here, and there's only one of them. So I'm going to make a note over here. 1 decimal place. Now I'm going to ignore them. So I'm going to say 4 times 3 equals 12. And then we're going to put the decimal place back in. So I'm going to change this 12 to make it 1 decimal place. So that means the decimal place is going to go in between the 1 and the 2. So 0.4 times 3 equals 1.2. Let's try the next one. 6 times 0.8. Start by looking at the numbers. How many decimal places are there? There's just one. So 1 decimal place. Let's go ahead and multiply as if the decimal place wasn't there. So 6 times 8 is 48. So now I just put the decimal place back in. So to make this 48 have 1 decimal place, it's going to go in between those numbers again. So 6 times 0.8 equals 4.8. Let's try one with more decimal points, and this involves us doing more in order to answer the question. So first of all, how many decimal places? Well, now we've got this 2 and this 8. So we've got 2 decimal places. I'm going to put that to one side over here. So now I'm just going to imagine that actually it's 128 times 12. Now, whether you use a column or a grid, I'm going to do a grid. So I'm going to split this number up into the 128 becomes 128, and then a 10 and a 2. Here's my grid. Not left myself a lot of room. No times. So 10 times 100 is 1,000. If you're not sure on that, do the 1 times the 1 first and then add the 3 zeros onto it. Now I'm going to do 10 times 20. So 1 times 2 is 2, and then we've got a 0 and a 0. Now I'm going to do the 10 times the 8, which is 80. 2 times 100, 200. 2 times 20 is 40. 2 times 8 is 16. Then we've got to add them all up. Can I squeeze it in on the right hand side? I'm sure I can. So we've got 1,000, 200, 200, 80, 40, 16. Here we go. So first of all we have a 6. Then that comes to 13. We'll put the extra 1 there. Then we've got a 5 and a 1. So 128 times 12 equals 1,536. But we've still got to put those 2 decimal places back in. So to make this 2 decimal places, it's going to go in between that 5 and that 3. So we've got the 3 and the 6, they're the decimal points. So to finish off, 1.28 times 12 equals 15.36. So a bit more to do in that one. I think actually that one's quite hard, but let's try the next one. This is an interesting one because there's 3 different ways that you could solve it. So I'm gonna stay with the one that I'm doing in this video, but then I would love to hear from you under Week 26 channel if there are other ways that you can think of that it could be solved. So I'm going to leave that one with you. Let's carry on with this one. So there are 2 decimal places. There we go. I'm going to ignore it. So we're just going to have 399 times 5. I'm going to do my grid. 399, 5. It's actually less numbers to do on this one. So 5 times 300, or if you're not confident with that, do 3 times 5, which is 15. Add the 2 zeros on. Then I'm going to do 5 times 90. Let me start with the 5 times 9, which is 45. Add that 0 on. And the 5 times 9 is 45. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there with that extra squiggly thing. So I'll make sure I write it up right. So let's add them all together. 1500, 450, 45. That leaves us with a 5, a 9, a 9, and a 1. So 399 times 5 equals 1995, but we need to put the 2 decimal places back in. So to finish that one, 399, it's money, isn't it? 399 times 5 equals, with the pound sign, £19.95. That's actually quite a long way of doing that one, but it is quite reliable. There are 2 other ways that I can think of. Again, if you can think of a quicker way without a calculator, please do let me know. So just to summarize the end of this video, you just got to count the number of decimal places, multiply the number as if it wasn't there, and put the total number of decimal places back in. And the learning objective was being able to multiply a 1 to 3 digit decimal number by a whole number. And that's the end of this video.